All right. Whew. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? I'm in here. I just thought I'd come in here because I got a goodie for y'all today. The topic today is 20%, only 20% of Black men say that they are single fathers. And I say, yeah, right. And I'm about to get to presenting this information and debunking this black male fuckery, because it's about time that we stop letting all of this propaganda out here get to us. We as Black women, we have got to start looking at the numbers and utilizing it in our favor, and not just letting anybody just say any old thing to us. And with that said, I'm just going to get right into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to get to breaking down, because see, I don't just come up here with my cleavage showing and don't give out any information. And I hope I'm not, this, let me button this top up. God damn it. Hold on, y'all. The top keep, I'm not doing this on purpose. The top keeps on. It won't even button. Fuck. Okay, well, anyway, I'm gonna share my screen with for a second. Hold on, I gotta hold my breath here. Okay, there we go. I got it, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm gonna get to telling y'all what it is that I'm trying to get conveyed to you about this whole thing. And let me see my comments here. Let me say hello to everybody. Princess Rescuer, Just Z, Miss Anti, how you doing? Thank you for joining me. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes here, because like I said, I like to show actual facts. I like to show the statistics. I like to show the numbers. I'm not like all of these men that get on here and they spew out all of these statistics, okay? And they're sitting up here saying, oh yeah, only 20% of us Black men, we don't have that many kids. Well, I just want to make an announcement. I would like to make an announcement. The Census Bureau has just for the first time put out stats. They put out stats on Black male fertility. And I have been telling you guys for a long time that the statistics out there that they had previously on Black male statistics was skewed. I told you this, but nobody wanted to believe me. Black men, in spite of there not being enough accurate information, they still want to throw out that little 20% and want you to believe them. Well, hey, faith is here with the receipts. Good morning. I mean, good evening, Topaz. I'm so used to saying good morning from Cluster Stream. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead, share my screen real quick. Let me do this, and that's going to be the entire screen. And we're going to look at these fertility and fatherhood stats real quick. All right, so now, as I was stating earlier, I hope you guys can see the screen right here. But here is the 2020, it says the 2020 census is happening now. And this says Census Bureau releases first ever report on men's fertility. And this was released back on June 13, 2019. And I cannot wait to get into it, right? Now, I'm not going to read this whole article because I'm not here to read to you, but I am just here to present the facts. Now, you know how you be scratching your head and you be punching numbers in the computer, and you're like, okay, we know the number of Black single mothers or Black women who have children and they're not married, but we never could find the exact number of Black men who have children outside of marriage. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack of useless information. You type in Black men, children outside of marriage, and you're liable to get anything in the search engine. It's like that number is like somehow invisible. You can never find it. And the reason you can never find it is what I've been telling you all for years and years. I even had to go and email the U.S. Census Bureau and ask them how come this information is not easily found like the information is for the women. And they told me missing information. But I'm going to tell y'all, I don't even have to show you that email. Now they are even putting this on their own website as a how can I say it, disqualifying statement to let you know that they don't have all the accurate information. I'm going to take you straight to it. because me being the female that I am, I'm not going to leave no stones unturned. Okay. So with that being said, let's look at the information that they do. They throw you out a little tidbit of information when you first go on to the website though. Okay, so they're saying for the first time, we're able to look at the fertility of men as well as women, says Lindsay Monte, a demographer in the Fertility and Family Statistics branch at the Census Bureau. When looking at full fertility histories of men, we see a depth and complexity to the experiences of fatherhood that we have not been able to see before in our data. Okay, so now we're going to get into a little bit of the data that they gave us. Okay, so now we're going to go down straight to race, because everything else, we don't want to know about nothing else. We just want to know about Black men. Okay, so when you go here, it says about 1% of white, Asian, and Hispanic men aged 15 to 19 are fathers, compared with about 3% of Black men of the same age. And among men 20 to 29, 21% of white men, 24% of Black men, and 12.4% of Asian men, and 29.4% of Hispanic men are fathers. So now, if 3% of Black men aged 15 to 19 are fathers outside of marriage, and 24.9% of Black men are fathers outside of marriage, that right there is already 27%. But see, that's not enough for me, because we're only looking at a demographic of age 15 to 29. I need a little bit more information, right? So you see this little link down here where it says, when do men become dads? Well, I clicked on that link, right? And I got this, men's fertility and fatherhood. So they use information from 2014 in the 2019 survey. Now, right away, when you get to reading the introduction, they start, explaining away the reason why they don't have this information. So let me just go ahead and read that, because I think it's important for me to just, how can I say, vindicate myself, because I've been saying this for years. So this is vindication for me, because I've been saying for years that they just didn't have all the accurate information. And here it is right here on the Census Bureau website. I'm going to read about 3 different places where they are saying this on this here Census Bureau data sheet here. But it says, introduction, this report describes the fatherhood and fertility of men in the United States. In recent decades, there has been growing public and academic interest in fathers and fatherhood, given the importance of fathers in children's lives. However, due in part to lack of data, let me say that again. However, due in part to lack of data, less is known about men's fertility than women's. Hello, should I say it again? Because see, Faith ain't just been making this stuff up. Men have been gaslighting me for years, and I've been telling you that there's a lack of data. But this is right on the Census Bureau website. This ain't Faith Jones just telling you anything. However, due in part to the lack of data, less is known about men's fertility than women's, including information about when in their lives men become fathers or remain childless, how many children they have, and the demographic factors associated with these events. Okay? So even now, with the information that they do have, they're letting you know they don't have all the information right there. Disclaimer. But let me continue, because see, I don't want nobody ever coming up to me again saying I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't ever want to hear that coming out nobody else's mouth again. So now I'm gonna shoot over here to page 6, because the rest of this is all about all the fathers in the United States. And see, we don't care about all the fathers in the United States. We just want to know about Black fathers, okay? Because Black men have been the one wiping Black women's faces with the whole y'all sleeping with just 20% of the men. So we gonna break these numbers down, ladies. Okay, so get your calculators out. Let's get ready to debunk black male fuckery, shall we? Because see, I'm here for it. If you here for it, put one down there in the chat, because I'm definitely here for this. Okay, so now I'm down here on page 6. This is a graph, right? And on this graph, it has the percentage of men who are fathers by age, race, and Hispanic origin. Okay, so now this is going to give you the full percentage by age, race, and Hispanic origin of black men who are just fathers. It's not going to break it down by who don't have children and who got children. Not yet. But I want you to keep this percentage in mind. Okay, when you go right here to the second column where it says black, okay, now the purple is a representation of black men aged 15 to 19. The lighter shade of purple next to it is age 20 to 29. The next one after that is 30 to 39, and the last one is 40 to 49. So that's all of them, right? So in total, 80% of black men have children, okay? So let's keep that 80% in mind. Keep that 80% in mind, because now we're going to skip through all the rest of this bullshit. Because I done read all of this. This is about, you know, all the fathers after that. I just stopped and looked at the one about race, because all I'm focusing on is black men. I don't want to get into their involvement with their children and none of that, because we know that's bullshit too. We're going to go all the way down to page 18, okay? Because now we know that 80% of black men have children, whether they're married or unmarried. Okay, so page 18, bam, here we go. Now this right here is completed fertility for men aged 40 through 50 by selected characteristics. Okay, so now, here we go. Age 40 through 50, and we got black alone, okay? So now, here is the percent who have children that were never married, age 40 through 50, because this is where all the guys around this age, this is when they done did all day fucking and having kids, excuse my language. 40 to 50, that time they get this age, all of them done had kids. Over here in the percent who had children and were never married, 31.4% of black men have had children and have never been married. Okay, these are the ones that are having the children out of wedlock. Where's that 20% again? It looked like we already 11% over that 20% they've been touting all this time online. Okay, so now if you deduct 31% from the 80% of black men that got children, that leaves us with what? 59%, right? Okay, so now let's look at something else. Let's look at something else. Because now, of the 31%, let's go over to the number of black men that are childless. Because they do have the percent that's childless right here. Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. Right here, percent childless. Let's look. Black alone. 19.5% of black men are childless, okay, by age 40 to 50. So that little 20% that they talking about is really the percentage of black men that don't have children, not the percentage of black men that have children. So you got 31% according to this that have never been married and got children, and 20% that have never had a child in their life, all the way up to age 50. All right. So now let me go back and stop sharing my screen. Let me get back to you real quick, because I did this for a reason, y'all. I did this for a reason. And the reason I did this is because I'm sick and tired of the lies. I'm sick and tired of the propaganda, okay? Now, according to them, oh, let me go back. I'm gonna share my screen one more time because I forgot to show you one last thing. There's one last thing that I did want to share with you in this report. And that is when they get to talking about the accuracy of the information. Okay, it says here, reliability of men's fertility data. It says the reporting of men's fertility information is a topic of some interest to social scientists. Some researchers believe that men are less reliable reporters of their own fertility than women. However, the evidence suggests that such misreporting is most prevalent for non-marital or adolescent birth. So that means the black men who are out here having children outside of marriage. They're saying that it suggests that the misreporting is more prevalent amongst those, okay? Nonetheless, questions regarding the accuracy and completeness of men's fertility reporting are important to address. So here they're going to get to address it. The challenge that data organizations face is that data is rarely faulty at random. For example, research shows that young unmarried men are more likely to answer, let me go back up here, don't know when asked for their children's birth years than are older married men. These patterns of missing responses affect the overall data quality, as men who report don't know likely have different fertility patterns than the men who do answer, as well as the process and accuracy of the means by which missing data are filled in. To assess the reliability of men's fertility reporting in the SIPP, we examine the differential reporting and the fertility information by men's demographic characteristics. For the fertility history questions, we group men by whether they provided answers to all fertility content for which they were fully reported, provided partial information but had some content for which imputation was necessary, which means that it was incompletely reported. So I kept telling you guys, years upon years, what have I been telling you? There is missing data. I've been telling y'all for years that when it comes down to the reporting of the men's information, there's missing data, and there is still missing data, okay? That 31% is still not all of the information, but I have been telling y'all that it was higher than the 20% that they had been reporting. And I submit to you today, I really believe it's more into the 40s when they really start getting a hold on it. They haven't gotten a hold on it yet, is basically what they're telling us. But this is a good start, a good step in the right direction. It's a good step in the right direction. Because now we're getting just a little bit more information about Black fathers who have children out of wedlock. And we are most definitely debunking that 20% lie. We're finally debunking that 20% lie. And hopefully as more information is gathered, if Black men are truthful about their reporting and they report accurate information, we will get down to the bottom of how many of these guys are actually fathers and when they start having these children out of wedlock. But with the little information that we do have, we have already debunked the 20% lie. Let me see what you guys are saying over here in the chat. Hey, Kenny Conjo, I just saw you over there at O'Shea. Boy, you are everywhere. I promise you. Love, wisdom. Thank you for coming in here. Miss Anti, Ray, what's up? Let's see here. Yeah, so, you know, guys, what I wanted to say to you guys is that, you know, Black men and Black women, we have got to stop banging each other over the head with these statistics. And like I said, as information comes out, I'm going to be the one to debunk all of this here, because what is actually tearing us apart, what is actually the thing that is divisive, is when we take this information and we use it to wash each other's faces with it. You know, this information is for us to use so that we could better ourselves, just like in finding out the information about the number of Black women to Black men. and finding that it is necessary for Black women to explore our options. That does not mean that we stop dating Black men, but that means explore means to expand. Expand does not mean exclude. And see, this is what I want a lot of Black men to understand, because I have a lot of Black men coming into my comment section just short of cursing me out because I said Black women should expand options. Expand does not mean exclude. Let me say that again. Expand does not mean exclude. Okay? So if there is 6 Black women to every one Black man has 6 Black women fighting over him, and he can only pick one. 5 of those women got to do something. 5 of those women got to go somewhere else. So they're going to expand their options so that they can have more of a chance to get with somebody. And that is not a slam at Black men. That is a need for Black women. Okay, and expanding the options doesn't necessarily mean that you go outside your skin color. There are men of other cultures that you can go to. You know, but if a Black woman decides that she finds love, you know, within another race, I'm not going to be mad at her because it's what, 7 to 1, 6 to 1, something like that. I got to pull the data back up again. So, you know, these women have got to do something. It is a need for Black women to date outside. And it's not us trying to say, nana, nana, new, we're going to, you know, leave you and all this type of stuff. You know, that's for children. You know, I'm dealing with adults. I always talk to my viewers in an adult manner. And I always bring the information in a manner that is to inform and enlighten so that people know what to do with the numbers. Now that we have the numbers, we know exactly what we need to be doing with it. And so now that we have debunked the 20% lie, we also know that a lot of Black men need to drop that. I have been saying for a long time that you all need to stop using the 20%. And now, you know, Black women are going to start saying nana, nana, new to those of you that keep doing it. And they will be right to do so because you are idiots. You're not doing your research. You're not using your head, and you're not crunching these numbers properly. And you're going out here and you are misrepresenting the information because it fits a narrative. And when you do that, when you misrepresent information just to fit a narrative, all you're doing, you're the ones that are being divisive, not me. The person that's coming here with the accurate information cannot be the one being divisive. But those of you that are using the information to rub in somebody's face and put them down, you are the ones that are being divisive, not the other way around. Ray, the Wellness Channel said, thank you, point well made. Sister, I try. You know, like I said, I'm not here to sit up here and bash anybody. I love all my brothers and sisters. And the information that I put out here is simply for us as a group to do better, for us as a group to strategize on how we're going to do better as a group. Miss Auntie said they never check, never have words for their fellow males when they are interracial dating. They only have smoke for Black women, and it's a hypocritical. Exactly. It is hypocritical, especially since Black men, you guys really don't have any reason to look outside of your race. You guys try to make up every reason under the sun. You even make up stats in order to make Black women appear to look bad, to justify your fetish for women of other races and cultures. And this is the reason why I said in my last stream, your actions and your activity is probably the reason why a lot of you are suffering today. I'm not even a biblical or how do you say, religious woman, but it does seem like you all are getting burnt out here. And it's probably because you all are disobedient even to your own principles. Now you sit up here and talk submission. You use the Bible. I believe it was Cluster. Was it Cluster? I'm not sure, but somebody was, another person on another panel was saying that you all love to use that Bible and use a woman being submissive to her man. I believe it was Crystal and Carrison. You love to use that, a woman being submissive talking about, you know, it is our job and our duty to be submissive to you guys, but you only utilize that Bible to fit your own narrative. Men, you are not doing anything to, how can I say, earn this submissiveness. And every woman should not be submissive to every man. If you are not a woman's husband, why should she submit to you? You know, and that goes right back to me. And I hate even remembering this. I hate even remembering about the girl getting hit over the head with the skateboard. I cannot get that image out of my mind. But because she did not submit to him, he decided that her punishment was to damn near break her jaw with a skateboard. And this isn't her husband. She had no business being submissive to this man. This is a man that she just met on the street. Oh, Kenny Conjo said he thinks Sin G said it too. Yeah, you know, all of us, we're on here echoing the same thing. We don't have to be submissive to men who are not our husbands. So you guys have got to stop using this submissive thing as an excuse either. You do not have to date out. Black men don't. If you have women in your own race outnumbering you 6-1, and you all have plenty of options, you have educated Black women, you have light-skinned Black women, mixed Black women, dark-skinned Black women, you have your ghetto ratchets, you got your quiet Black women, the librarians, you got your crazy Black women, you got all different types. You know, if you like crazy, you got crazy. If you like light skin, you got light skin. If you like slutty, you got slutty. You got all kinds in this community. You got all types of flavors, all types of options. But what you guys are doing is you all are utilizing the whole 6-1 ratio to your advantage. And you're taking advantage of these women and misusing them, because these women are race loyal, because these women all want a Black man to make children and Black families with. And you all are not giving these women rings. Our marriage rates are low. So that means Black men are not even marrying the women that want them. But all the while complaining they can't find good women. You all don't want good women. You don't. You want to sit up here and you want to gaslight and you want to think of ways to keep the party going. And I'm here to shut it down. Faith is here to shut it down. And I hope that all the other Black women with their platforms will shut it down as well by giving Black women power and information to take control of their own lives and destiny. And now we don't have to be miserable and fighting and pulling each other weaves out anymore, because we're fighting over the same scraps of Black men that don't mean us any good. Now, there are a handful of you that are about something, but I think I said something on Custer's panel earlier today. There's a lot of bad apples in that bunch. There's a lot of bad apples in that barrel. And you know what the old saying is, one bad apple can spoil the entire bunch. So even if you got a couple of good apples in there, if you got a couple of good apples in that barrel, eventually over time, the bad apples will ruin those too, and there will be a big barrel of rotten apples. So for those of you that say that you're good apples, but you're just laying there latent, not saying anything, not ever doing anything, not ever speaking out, and letting your brothers know that they bogus and they wrong for how they doing the sisters, you're part of the rotten apple bunch. You're part of it. You're in that barrel rotting along with the rest of the rotting apples. And Black women no longer have to stand for it. You know, there is a whole world of men of color, men of other cultures, and men of other races that we could look to and expand our options, and we can go there. We no longer have to take the mistreatment and the abuse. That no longer has to continue to go on. Love Wisdom says, too many clean up Black men that will make excuses for the treasonous behavior of their brethren. Exactly. And it's no time for excuses anymore. You know, this is not a time where we can afford to be making excuses. Good evening, Joe. Thank you for joining. But like I said, you know, I want there to be a constituency of Black men that sit down with other Black men and say, hey, you know what, instead of us trying to lower the self-esteem of our women to make up for what it is that we're not able to provide or able to do for them, why don't we get together as Black men and become better men for our women and our children? And most importantly, for yourself, become a better man for yourself. You know, you all should not be sitting up here banking on the loyalty, the race loyalty of women and the low self-esteem of women to bring you a woman, or some kind of natural disaster, or women just being dumb. You know, we're not going to stay dumb for long. As a matter of fact, more and more, and actually is happening at a younger age, because I would argue that the older generation of Black women in my generation, we have been for the longest time on the fence. As I know, I have been on the fence for a long time with the race loyalty. And I had traveled down that road of teaching race loyalty to my daughters. I almost did, until I started actually crunching the numbers. And I had to do an about face, and I had to realize that if I really loved my daughters, I would not sentence them to a lifetime of fighting with 6 or 7 other women over one man, when they can expand their options and easily get somebody, you know, and while they're young. Like Cluster said, don't waste your beauty books while you're young. Miss Anti says, Ray, and don't even have the finance for a polygamous lifestyle. Exactly. Yeah, they do. They holler all this polygamy stuff. You know, we if there's more with Black women to Black men, then the answer is polygamy. They love that. But at the same time, they're not telling you that while they want this polygamous lifestyle, in order to finance it, you got to help put money in the bank. So basically, they end up kind of being your pimp almost, but they want to be your pimp husband, and all the sister wives go out and work. And 9 times out of 10, he's just staying at home with his favorite sister wife, making all the babies, and you all got to finance the whole thing while sharing penis, by the way. That is the plan that they have for you with this whole polygamy thing. They tell you it's worse than the 50-50 setup that a lot of these guys got set up. It's worse. It's worse than 50-50. Because now you got your 50-50 guys saying that they need your help to pay bills. And then you got the polygamy guys saying they need your help to be polygamous. And see, you know, I'm sick and tired of Black men that want all the submission and want all the benefits from Black women, but they ain't never got the finances for what they're demanding. They never got the finances. But at any rate, I'm going to make this a real short show. I'm going to start sending out the link. So anybody that wants to jump on here and tell me what they think, hold on a second. Copy that over to my clipboard here. I'm going to throw the link out there. And anybody, whether you agree with me or don't agree with me, people that don't agree with me, you're able to get up here too, and we can chop it up for real. Because, you know, I'm getting sick and tired of it. You know, it's something that's got to give. And here is the platform for us to chop it up and have that conversation. I'm open. You know, as long as you're respectful to me, I will let you have your say. I'm not going to mute your microphone or any of that type of stuff. Over here, you can say whatever it is that you want to say, get it on out. We can chop it up and have a real conversation about it. But the link is out there. If anybody wants to step up here and have anything to say about what I just put out there, like I said, the 20%, You know, that is just something that a lot of men heard from one person. I think I heard it first when Jason Black threw it out there that only 20% of Black men were unwed fathers. And I laughed at it even back then when I heard him say it. And I said even then that that statistic was wrong, because I looked and looked and there was nowhere to be found where you can find this 20% statistic anywhere. The closest I came to it was a 1987 study where somebody wrote about it, and they were saying that 20% of Black men from the age of, I think they said 15 to 20 to 23. And that was a very small segment of Black men, by the way, that they were referring to. So they didn't even have the full spectrum of Black men. But in this study that I showed you, it went all the way up to age 40. And that was at 31%. So that 20% has been debunked officially. And it is on the Census Bureau website. I will leave the link to all of these places that I got the information from at the end of this video so that you can go and look up the information for yourselves. But I am happy to report, ladies, that we are not sleeping with the same 20% of men. And also, when you crunch the numbers, you find out that 39% of married Black men are fathers. So you got close to 40% of Black men who are fathers. The other 60% are not. So, you know, wherever you go, there you are, and the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. So you got 40% of Black married men who are fathers, 20% of Black men who don't have any children, and 31% of Black men who are fathers, according to the CDC survey. That's how the numbers are crunching up. That's how the numbers are crunching up. Princess Rescuer says, what investment does anyone have in defending a stranger's bad behavior? None. I don't believe that there's any investment in defending the bad behavior of a stranger. But now, here's the thing. When Black men sit up here and tell each other that it's okay for you guys to pump and dump, and that Black single mothers are for having fun and having sex with, older Black women are for having fun and having sex with and sowing your wild oats. What does that say about Black culture here in America as far as when it comes to mating and dating? We have a pretty messed up American culture. Then you have a certain segment of Black men that say that they're going to run to other countries and find women that are better than the women that they've been pumping and dumping in the United States. And by the way, blaming the women. By the way, blaming the women for being pumped and dumped, even though this is a culture that they sit up here and uphold to each other. You uphold the culture of pump and dump, but then turn around and blame the women for being pumped and dumped. That doesn't make any sense. Not at all. And what I'm trying to say to Black men and Black women, because I'm talking to both at this time, even though this is a woman's space, I am referring to both Black men and Black women. You know, we're not doing each other a service where we sit up here and we promote negativity towards the other gender. You know, when Black women, you know, tell other Black women to abort Black male babies, I don't subscribe to that either. Okay, because what has an innocent child got to do with the actions of grown-ups? I don't subscribe to that either. So when people are out here spewing this useless rhetoric that is not no benefit of any good to anyone, we have got to be man and woman enough to speak up and say, that's bullshit and that's nonsense, sis, brother. You know, but there's not enough of us doing that. We let these people just come on here and say anything, and nobody gives pushback. Very few people give pushback. And the people that do, they don't get upheld at all. The people that are brave enough to step out and say something, nobody has their back. Nobody. But like I said, the link is out there for anybody that wants to come up and chop it up. Even if you just have a comment that you want to say in general, you are welcome to come up and give your input. Like I said, this is a place where everybody is welcome to share. Everybody is welcome to have their say. Everybody can pretty much get off their chest whatever it is they've been feeling for the longest time. And like I say, even if it's contrary to what I put out there, you know, this is not a space where I'm going to mute your mic, I'm going to talk over you, or any of that. You're going to have a chance to get whatever it is you want to say out. Ray Ray says they let the community destroy them. Facts. And here's the thing, as far as the community. Now, even though I am telling Black women that we need to expand the options, and expanding does not mean excluding Black men. It just means that we are open. It just means that we are going to be open to looking at men of other cultures who are also Black and men of other races who may not be Black, rather than fighting 6 or 7 women fighting over one man. That is not a good solution for Black women. Now, there, you know, to each their own. Now, there's a group of women out there that want to go and do the thing. I think it was what's her name, Shazabeh Ali. Oh, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, but we all know about her. You want to do the polygamous thing? If you want to do the polygamous thing, that's up to you. You know, I'm not here to tell anybody how to live their life. I'm just here to put out these statistics and tell you that there's a need for us to look elsewhere. So if elsewhere leads you to polygamy, do your thing. It's not me. If elsewhere leads you to dating outside the culture, do your thing. If elsewhere leads you to dating men outside the race, do your thing. All I'm saying is, Black women, we have other options. We have other options. Hey, what's up, Mahogany Roots? And MJ, I saw that live that you did the other day. I hate that I missed it. But on my days, on the days that I work, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, when I come home, I'm knocked out. So when you guys are doing lives, I'm in the bed snoring. And I'm barely hanging on for dear life because I have to get up at 12 o'clock in the morning and hit that truck. Oh, thank you, Mahogany. Mahogany says you look beautiful, Faith. And Mahogany, you look beautiful on all your lives, girl. Beautiful, dark-skinned sister right there. Check out her channel. She has lots of good content and information on her channel as well. Mahogany, when you get a chance, I think everybody knows everybody here, but you can drop your channel link over here too. Yeah, but guys, you know, it's time for us to stop with this whole throwing the numbers up in each other's faces. You know, I'm sick and tired of that, you know, and also I'm going to keep banging this until I'm dead. Not in the morning. Girl, yes, 12 a.m. I'm up at 12 a.m. every morning, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Well, no, not Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I work 4 days out of the week. And then I usually get home around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you're looking at about a 13, 14-hour day for me. And when I get home, I don't have time to do anything else. By the way, y'all, I got just enough time to sleep, maybe wind down a little bit, watch a little TV, listen to a vlogcast. And then after that, I don't even get through a whole vlogcast. I'm knocked out. I'm seeing Z's snoring and everything else. But on the upside, I get 3 days off. I'm off on Sunday, Mondays, and Wednesdays. So it's a trade-off, you know. I have to see, you know, see about the trade-off. So Ray Ray said that night shift is hell. I used to do security 12 to 8. Yeah, Ray Ray. It's hard getting up at 12 o'clock in the morning. I'm telling you, I do not want to be letting that bed go at all. And you can't really, you know, when you get off work, you can't kick it. If you kick it just a little bit, you liable not to get up the next day and go to work. for sure. But like I said, I'm gonna keep banging on this until, you know, I can't bang on it no more, guys, because, you know, there was a live stream that I was watching. I think I was on the Breakdown, a Woman's Perspective channel, and I heard a brother state it again. And I was on Bernard's. I was kind of watching from the clouds. I still go to Bernard's channel and watch from the clouds because there are a lot of interesting guys that do be on that channel. And somebody else was saying only 20% of black men are fathers. And I said, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. I get so sick and tired of these guys using that false narrative. And once again, the Census Bureau and the Center of National Vital Statistics, they say all over their websites that they don't really have accurate information on fatherhood statistics, unfortunately. So the information that they do gather, it comes primarily from the use of birth certificates and word of mouth, and the accuracy of these men. There's no actual documents that they can really refer to outside of the birth record. They rely 100% on birth records, and once again, 40% of black women don't actually put the father's name on birth certificates. There was something else on here that I wanted to look at too while we're talking about that. Okay, here it is right here. I just found it. Let me share my screen again real quickly, because we are going to go over here to paternity parenting establishment. And this is something that I believe everybody should be aware of. But it says here that paternity parentage establishment means determining the parent of a child. If a child's parents were not married or in a civil marriage union when the child was born, the law does not recognize the other parent unless paternity parentage is legally established. Okay? Now, establishing paternity parentage will give your child the same rights and benefits as children born to married parents. These rights and benefits include other parents' name is on the birth certificate, legal proof and identity of the child's parents, family medical history, helpful when inherited health issues, medical or life insurance from either parent, financial support for both parents, including child support, inheritance, military allowances, Social Security, and or veteran benefits. Now, establishing paternity parentage gives both parents legal rights to seek a court order for child support, seek a court order for custody or visitation, have a say in certain legal decisions about the child. Why am I reading this? Because there's an actual step that you have to go through to establish voluntary paternity. Now, it says here the easiest way to establish paternity is administratively without going to court via the Voluntary Acknowledgement of Paternity Program. It's the VAP program, Voluntary Acknowledgement of Paternity Program, whereby both biological parents sign a legal document agreeing that the child is theirs. There is an actual program like this, and usually they have this at the hospitals when the baby is born. It says signing the VAP can be done at the hospital, like I just said, after the baby is born, or at a local office of vital statistics. You can find one in your local state or county, or child support services office. They have plenty of those around. Or any time until the child turns 18 or 19 years of age if the child is still in high school. So even if you don't do it right at birth or right away, as long as the child is in high school and they're under the age of 18 or 19, you can always voluntarily establish paternity for the child. When unmarried parents sign the VAP, the parents' names will be placed on the birth certificate by the Office of Vital Statistics. If either parent changes their mind, they have 60 days to appeal. So that means that if you have a question of paternity, You got 60 days to raise that question after signing a VAP. If the mother was married during the 300 days before the child was born, or if the mother was not married, but during the first 2 years of the birth of the child, another man continuously lived with the child and acknowledged the child as his own. These are all instances of where paternity is assumed, okay? So basically, if the mother was married during the 300 days before the child was born, then the person she was married to will be assumed to be the father. Or if the mother was not married, but during the first 2 years of the birth of the child, another man continuously lived with the child and acknowledged the child as his own, then that person is considered the presumed fathers. These are instances when paternity is presumed. And that is without you even signing a voluntary establishment of paternity, acknowledgement of paternity. In order for the mother and biological father to complete the voluntary acknowledgement, both the mother and the presumed father must complete a form called the denial of paternity. Both the denial of paternity and the voluntary acknowledgement of paternity must be filed with the Office of Vital Statistics. Neither document is valid until both have been filed. If a couple wishes to sign a VAP, but is not sure who the biological father is, the mother, father, and children should obtain paternity, genetic or DNA tests. The test can show up to 99% probability whether a man is the child's biological father. So I'm going to stop there because they're going into Delaware and all this other stuff. But it says to learn more about the importance of establishing paternity, watch the Power of Two video online and or contact DCSS's customer service unit. Okay, so that's just a little bit of information, you know, that people do not All right, I'm back, guys. I bumped myself off for a second there. But that's a bit of information that people do not typically like to share and give online. So I like to, you know, give and share information that I think would be vital to helping Black people. You know, there are a lot of us that have these arguments back and forth, and they're usually circular arguments about paternity, child support, how to establish a paternity. The Black woman is given paternity right away while the Black man doesn't have any rights and all of that. So now I read all of that for you to utilize the information, share the information amongst yourselves, and go ahead and make sure that everybody knows about it. But yes, Black men, you can go and get paternity established. If you know that that's your kid, you can go and get that on file with the Office of Vital Statistics immediately. And then you will have just as much rights as the mother. But if nobody is going to come up, you know, I'm not going to keep this live stream up. It's like I said, I just came to give that little tidbit of information. This is my work night, so I do have to get in the bed. So if nobody else is going to come up, I did throw the link out there. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the stream. Give it about 5 more minutes before I see anybody. Yes, Mahogany, I love our circle on YouTube as well. Oh, hey, Chef Disaster, how are you? Chef Disaster is also in the house. But I do appreciate all of you that do come here and support this channel regularly. I do see Kenny Conjo in here regularly. Love Wisdom, Ray Ray, Miss Auntie, Princess Rescuer, Joe W. All my regulars are here. And you know, I do appreciate you. You could be anywhere supporting anybody, but you are here supporting me, and I'm always, always gonna be thankful and express my gratitude and thankfulness that you do come here and spend the time with me. But I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down because Sister Girl gotta go to bed. But do come back again. I will have more content to come. And you guys have a pleasant evening. Good night.